The Mothman. I run a paranormal channel where me and my friend James go out exploring places that are rumored to be haunted. Or if it's a place where cryptid creatures were rumored to be spotted. Safe to say all our videos are fake. We use editing and everything to make it look real. But in reality, none of it is. Most of our viewers are children, so they tend to believe this stuff. We make a lot of money doing this. Plus, we even sell merch. We've been doing this for 3 years now, and I've never been happier. Before this, we both worked as construction workers for 5 years and hated it. Then one day I was told by a coworker about these people who make bank doing 3 a.m. videos. That's when I had an idea. I decided that James and I should give it a try. I even hired my other friend Donald to record us, since he hated his job as a gas jockey. My last video I did was exploring a haunted house. I bought in a Ouija board and pretended to be talking to a ghost, and then made it look like we were being attacked by it. That video did really good, so when I heard things online about a creature in West Virginia called the Mothman, and knew that I could make money off of this, so all 3 of us packed our gear and went out and set out for West Virginia. The moment we got there, we booked ourselves into a hotel for 3 days, and then got set out. We first went down to the Mothman statue, and recorded there as they talked about the lore behind the Mothman. We then went down to the Mothman Museum and showed off all the stuff inside. I couldn't believe how dumb people were to fall for this crap, but hey, if it's gonna make me money, then why stop? We finished shooting and went back to the hotel to get it set up for the night. My friend Donald stopped me and told me he felt nervous about doing this. I told him it was all fake, but he shook his head. He then told me a story his mom told him when he was a boy. When I was 7, my mom told me a story that back in 1967, the Silver Bridge collapsed and killed 46 people. Before it collapsed, people said they saw a Mothman on the bridge. Don't tell me you believe in the Mothman. It's a dumb urban legend to draw tourists to this boring-ass town. He was still nervous about it, so I decided to give him an extra $100 to do it. He agreed, but still seemed worried about it. We set out and drove far out to the woods, got our stuff unloaded, got everything set up, and got to filming. I did my thing and told the audience what we were doing, then we set out into the woods. Went out deep into the woods to see which would be a really good spot to pretend to see the Mothman. I couldn't find a good spot and was wondering how long it would take. I then heard James yell, "Hey, how about this spot over here?" He pointed over to a tall tree and I smiled. This would be perfect. Just use some editing and make it look like red eyes are staring right at us. We looked back at Donald and I noticed that he was looking up at something with a terrified expression. "Hey, you good?" He didn't reply, and before I could say anything else, I heard something that sounded like a screech, only it kept getting louder and louder as it went on. It hurt my ears and I had to cover them, because I felt like my eardrums would explode if I didn't. I saw Donald drop the camera and then run away. I then turned around to see what he was running from. I almost screamed. Up in the tree was a dark, figured creature with bright red eyes. I stared at it in awe, and it stared right back at us. I then knew that we couldn't just stand here. We both turned around and ran the way Donald went. I could hear the thing right behind us. We just kept running, not caring about the camera we left behind. Once we reached the car, I pulled out my keys, but my hands kept shaking as I struggled to unlock the door. I heard the thing getting closer and finally unlocked it, and we all got in. I quickly started the car and drove the hell out of there. After a while of driving, we finally had time to catch our breath and calm down. Donald said, "I told you this was a dumb idea." I didn't care and was just happy to be out of those woods and safe in the car. But I spoke too soon, because that's when I heard James yell, "Look!" I looked out the window and saw that thing flying right at our car. I panicked and tried driving faster, but this thing was able to keep up with us. It then flew down in front of the car and landed on the ground with a loud bang. I slammed on the brakes right before we could hit it. We slowly looked up at this thing and saw how big it was. The wings were even bigger. It was 7 feet tall and was fully black, except for its eyes, which were bright red. It showed off its long, sharp teeth as saliva dripped from its mouth. We were frozen in fear and none of us could move a muscle, fearing that it would attack us. It felt like it was staring deep into our souls, and I wanted to cry and beg for mercy. Right when I thought we were done, the creature turned around and flew off into the sky and left us there. We sat there for a while in silence. Then I built up the courage to drive out of there, not wanting to wait for it to change its mind and come back. When we got back to town, we went up to our hotel room and sat there in silence. I didn't know what to think after seeing that thing. Donald looked at me and finally said, "Now something bad is going to happen to us." I was confused and he explained more about the bridge that collapsed, saying that the Mothman brings bad luck wherever he goes. I just sighed and looked down and asked if he knew anything else about the Mothman. All he replied was, "I believe that the Mothman is a fallen angel, and that's why he brings bad luck wherever he goes." This really didn't help us at this moment, but I didn't care right now. At least we were back at the hotel safe and sound. 2 weeks later, though, James got really sick and had to be rushed to the hospital. They tried to do everything they could to save him, but in the end, he ended up dying. They couldn't explain his death since it didn't seem like there was anything wrong with him. His death was a mystery. All I could think about was what Donald told me about the Mothman bringing bad luck, and wondered if us messing with him is what killed James. I ended up deleting my channel after this, and decided to never do paranormal or cryptid things ever again. Donald and I also stopped speaking to each other after this, and went our separate ways. This is a reminder that when you mess with this stuff, bad things only come with it.